back to the Overthinkers podcast. I'm your host, Nimbus, and I'm back here with the homie, the co-host, LD Lights. How
Howdy,
you
howdy,
feeling?
y'all. Another
How's
great
it
day. It's
going?
actually warmer again.
I was gonna say, it hasn't been bad for late February, early March.
Yeah, we had that little stretch of that last week, but now it's kind of a nice day.
I'll take it for Black History Month, man. We got the winter month for Black History Month. Make it make sense, way. I say this so much, but can someone please make that make sense? I know we already complaining because we got the shortest month, and I'm starting over with a rant already. But hey, I'm just saying what the brothers been saying. For me, I didn't really think about it until the brothers start laying the facts on the table, and then it's like, damn, they really did give us the shortest month. And
That's so.
hey, we gotta look forward to the leap years, though. Yeah.
Don't hit me with
Anyway,
that. Oh my god.
We gotta talk about the more recent issues on YouTube with our mother bird, our Mama Sue, leaving YouTube.
Crazy. It's crazy for the fact that the little birdies normally leave the nest first. Mama Sue jumped and left us, man.
Yeah, she went to go get milk.
Yeah,
and she ain't never coming back.
That pack of smokes was good.
It's weird because the baby birds, it's like the second mama bird flew. We turned to each other like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Everyone was so confused, which I think is hilarious. Everyone's like, well, first of all, who did it? Who done it? And then second of all,
that's what I'm waiting for.
Second of all, why'd she leave?
Yeah.
And then third of all, who's replacing her?
I knew the third. The reason is because she wanted to focus on other things, which is so vague.
To keep it a buck, I will say there could be a genuine possibility. She's made almost $1 billion at Google. She might just, want to retire. Like,
no, yeah, I get that.
I'm
just saying. And I looked it up. Obviously, she's pretty much. She let the guys who started Google start in her garage.
Yeah,
she's been there day one. So I'm not saying she doesn't deserve retirement by this point, but I'm just saying, like, that was so vague. If you want to retire, just say you're going to retire. Do you?
I guess it's
just
see
weird.
The theory. I'm just going to cut to the main course because the theory going around is because a lot of big tech corporation like CEOs are getting subpoenaed, and so people are saying she's leaving because they're getting subpoenaed. But the only reason that doesn't really make sense is because she's still going to get subpoenaed either way.
Either way, yeah. Like it's not like going to second place in Mario Kart and the blue shell whizzes past you. It's not like that.
It's not like she could just brake really hard and all of a sudden that subpoena is just gonna fly by and
go
nuke
to
someone
the person
else.
she just dumped it
just
on.
Some random civilian fucking just turn to dust.
Yeah.
But I just with Mama Susan, I really think it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we'll see in the future if it's more of one or the other. And the replacement
is the guy that's been doing YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah.
The guy that's been like managing that?
He has done he actually released like a list of things he's done for the community. I thought it was funny because everyone was like, yeah, you the NFT guy. I remember you owe me money. And just started running up on him.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And then like it's like someone owing you money, and then you run up on them, and they just pull out a list of good deeds they've done instead. They're like, but look at these. And so he put out like 10 things.
I'm a good guy badge.
Yeah, exactly. He pulls the badge and slowly just pins it on his shirt. But he pulled out the list where he had a hand in YouTube Premium. He had a hand in YouTube TV.
Yeah.
He had a hand in, of course, YouTube Shorts, like you brought up.
Yep.
Which some of these, it's like, okay, you kind of just ripping other people's ideas.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, you didn't really have to manage
YouTube
too
Shorts.
much.
Okay, he saw TikTok and was like, man, I wish I could have that much money.
Yeah, TikTok saw Vine and was like, damn, that died. Why not bring it back?
Yeah. And it's worse than Vine, to say the least, but it really filled the void that Vine left. And everyone,
in my heart.
Yeah, everyone really wanted the motherfucking Vine shit to come back. So, which it wasn't top-notch stuff when you think about it, but a lot of YouTubers started on Vine. Like, think about Logan Paul and stuff like that. He started on Vine. That kid started on Vine. And now he's making, just in January alone, he made $45 million off of Prime. Just in 1 month. and my figures could be wrong, but it's over 40 mil plus in 1 month. And so with Mama Sue leaving, it leaves a big question of
Everything.
who's gonna be
What happens?
the movers and shakers now.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be changing it? I don't think Neil's gonna really be, because he was working under Susan for a while,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I I kind of think Susan was kind of one of the main people who wanted to change stuff at YouTube. To be honest, I know it's a hot take, but she really can't do anything by herself. And at least she would have interviews with YouTubers and would say like, yeah, the dislikes thing, we'll see how it works. She made it sound like they might fix it in the future. I don't know if I'm crazy for saying that, but there's at least when she gets pushback, she makes it, at least seem like she doesn't want to take creators down. It's just something that is hopefully going to help the YouTube community in her eyes.
But
We'll see if Neil thinks the
that's
same
what I
way.
was just gonna ask you. Do you think they'll keep things that will work and drop the ones that don't, or do you think they're just gonna stick it out?
See, my thing with Neil being under Susan, I don't really see him changing too much. Like if he was like the chief product exec, whatever the official title is, but he was pretty up there, like chief product guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to believe that he would just switch a bunch of stuff. Like if he was unhappy with how it was ran, I'm pretty sure he would at least have said something before, or he probably would have found some other position at Google. Like
I mean, yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But I just find it hard to believe that he'd take command and then instantly switch a bunch of stuff. Hopefully he's still scraps the idea of NFTs. Just imagine if
Yeah. No.
if I had to get
No.
on YouTube and now
No.
NFTs are trying to be sold to me every video, and the advertisement for NFTs, and that would be a nightmare.
If they do some type of thing where to skip the ad on NFTs, you have to get a different version of YouTube Premium, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, and that's why Susan leaving is mixed emotions for me, and I think for a lot of people.
Exact. No. Yeah. I feel the same way.
Because I saw a lot of comments where it was like, hopefully Neil takes notes and does the same thing Susan did and steps down too.
I didn't expect that one, but
And,
yeah,
right. You get to the end of that and you're like, wow, this guy woke
Had
up
me
and
in the
chose
first half,
violence.
not gonna lie.
Yo, clean off the black Air Forces, my
Yeah.
guy. And so, even though it's like someone has to run YouTube, so if he steps down, who else is gonna run YouTube? Which would be funny if like someone like Mr. Beast just walked up and was like, "Yeah, I'm buying YouTube" or some stupid shit. Like that'd be nuts.
wild.
Wouldn't it be awesome if YouTube was like actually creator owned? Like, oh my god, or at least creator ran, since
Rand.
Google
Yeah.
owned YouTube. But
Yeah.
you know what I
yeah.
mean.
No. Yeah.
Helmet the
Creator.
ship,
Yeah. Creator managed.
Captain, oh Captain. That kind of thing where it's like, okay, finally we have someone we trust, we have someone we know like actually
Yeah.
cares about
Yeah.
the platform.
Yeah.
Like, I think that could be cool. I
That-
honestly
that-
think that could be cool.
Someone that at least just takes in what their creators say.
Yeah,
Pretty much their employees.
and it definitely would make it better if someone would actually have done the grind themselves and knows like all the flaws. Of
Exactly.
The
No.
algorithm and,
Yeah.
like Mr. Beast for YouTube CEO. Can we start pushing that, please?
Yeah.
Like honestly, I would,
Yeah.
if there was a voting system for that,
would
which
vote.
there's not, but if there was a voting system for that, I would be up there first, because it's scary when times like this happen at YouTube. And
Because it
speaking,
can, like you said, it could go either stay the same, go really good, or really bad.
or really left.
Yeah.
And speaking of going really left, and apparently the last few years, or at least since the Trump administration, we've had, I don't know if you guys have heard, but we've had Chinese balloons. I wish there was a more official way of saying that. It sounds
Weather
balloons.
Chinese weather balloons.
Chinese weather balloons. That still doesn't sound as
But that's what they've been using.
Yeah, that still doesn't quite fit
feel
the
right.
situation.
Yeah, it doesn't
sounds
feel
like,
right.
Like it just doesn't scale to how important it actually is. But
Yeah.
but apparently these weather balloons were, I think it was Hawaii, Guam, and what was it? There's like Canada too or something. There was Alaska. There's these Chinese weather balloons that have essentially been floating around the country. And I know of one that was shot down after it went above North Carolina because they pretty much waited till it was above the ocean so it didn't crash into
I was gonna say,
someone or
so
in
it
the
sets down to a
building.
safer place, air
And
quotes.
I heard last time I heard about it, they're collecting the pieces of it,
Yeah.
and there was
Same thing for Alaska too.
yeah, and so Alaska it's probably a lot easier because there's a lot of mountains and stuff, so they might not even have had to.
No, it landed in the ocean
They
too.
really did
They
land in
got
the
it down
ocean.
in the ocean. Yeah,
Okay, wow. Well,
just to be
they
safe,
played it
probably.
safe. Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably easier in Alaska because there's a lot of just open
Area
field
two,
and
yeah,
stuff.
Area two set it down.
But I did see that there was some stuff that people were saying it wasn't Chinese or Chinese weather balloons and some stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of different takes on it. And obviously there was the one in Antarctica where there was stuff down there and they were saying it was aliens and so there's been a lot of different stuff the last
Chatter.
few years to say the least
Yeah.
of different things being found. And I what's interesting to me about this whole story is Trump actually denies that their Chinese balloons ever existed during his
Yeah,
presidency.
period.
And I just can't really wrap my head around
Why that would
how
happen
it would
in the
happen
first
during
place.
Biden's administration, but not during Trump's. Even though we haven't really gotten a real figure of when these started and like how long these weather balloons have been around. If anyone knows or finds it, and I didn't see it in the research I've done so far, but if anyone finds it and wants to leave it in the comments, that would be
Definitely let us know. That'll help a lot.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, any comments you
Point
leave,
us in
just-
a direction.
just don't hold back. I'm ready for the heat. I know we have a lot of improvement here to do, a lot of research improvement to hear, but I think in step by step, we're going to turn into, the researchers and pretty much scientists to this. We're going to get this into a
Yeah.
system and
Yeah.
dissect
Down to
all
a
of
chemical.
dissect all these topics and try and really have all the information
Split
that
the
we
hairs.
can
Yeah.
and all the correct information that we can. Speaking of correct information, I do want to just go back to the last episode for a second where we were talking about J.K. Rowling, where apparently she was talking about the gender topic for a couple of years before the Maya stuff. So I apologize, I guess, for not getting the whole story. It is very convoluted, I'll be honest, between all the tweets that J.K. is tweeted out about it, and some of them being more educational, some of them being more spiteful. And I'm not going to spend too long on it, but really, I'm just confused why a book author would take it to the lengths that she did. After seeing some of the tweets, and really, it's like, it's not even like she was trying to make herself sound educational. It sounds like she really was kind of combative about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the main
Really
problem
defensive.
with why she had her name dragged through the mud was maybe it's not even really the content, but it sort of is. But just the way she presented herself through the whole situation was it was just kind of gross, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
she really went
Yeah.
like I might post a picture of it, but she's making fun of people defending the situation and pretty much being like, "Oh, what did we used to call these people? Women, wumbo, like different names for it." And it's like it's just trying to belittle the people. And I get that it's a stupid situation in her eyes. I really do, because for her this is like she's an older lady. You have to remember this too. So for her, this is like this never existed when she was a kid. This never had existed earlier, and so like this is a whole new thing for her, and she's coming into this as an older adult, and it's like, what are people talking about in her brain? Like, what is this? And for me, it's like if you're not living the lifestyle, like, why do you have to
Stay out of it.
belittle the people
just-
in it?
Why
And
was your 2 cents necessary?
when you're not a professional in the subject and you're making it sound like you are, kind of, by making people like almost instigating people by making people take the reaction of combativeness and aggressive because you want to, I don't want to say joke, but because like I guess she wants it to be in a joking manner, but it doesn't really come off as a joke in some of the things that she says. So I just wanted to backpedal a little bit into that because I if we have to cover it again, we'll cover it again. I know Hogwarts Legacy. I saw a stat where it sold like 12 million copies, so it's doing good no matter
It
what.
it's already renewed for a second game, and they're already gonna make a show out of it.
Oh yeah,
And not out of the game, but they're from the game already talking about a show.
oh yeah. They're gonna be milking Hogwarts. I'm not surprised.
They've been they've been doing that with
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
exactly. It's not like
I
they
love
haven't
it,
been milking
but
it.
like it's been stretched.
The Fantastic Beasts that was lined up for another like it was for another 3 movies or whatever. They wanted to originally do 5 Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah.
So honestly, I was done after the first one. So it's interesting to a point. Like
At least it was different
yeah,
enough.
it was
Because if they
different.
went in more detail about the American magical culture, it'd be different. Because they were talking about like the like Thunderbird level stuff and like stuff like that. Like if there was differences, just show that in the movies.
And it would have just been better if like Fantastic Beasts was kind of like a one-off movie, and maybe they backed it up with like a show after. Like they wouldn't have lost as much money to be honest with you. But I just, I guess I wasn't really up just the fan of the creatures and stuff of the Harry Potter world for the most part. I know that sounds terrible to say, but like most of them were just ripped from other things other than like the Dementors, like
I mean, yeah, 100%.
centaurs. They
Yeah,
were a thing.
of course.
What else did we get? Dragons,
Unicorns.
unicorns. Like they were ripped from other mythology, and I'm not bashing on it, but it's just like it doesn't really make me stick around for Fantastic Beasts. They did have a few other unique ones that Fantastic Beasts brought up, but most of those, they weren't like new.
Are
So
too different.
yeah, so that's kind of my 2 cents on the new Hogwarts. But I think Hogwarts Legacy might actually end up being good for the Hogwarts series and all that. And speaking of a series that I have really high hopes for, and it's been years since we got another release, and
I forgot about this, but never mind. Keep going.
I was hoping it was going to be Storm 5 we were talking about.
I still don't know this. I still have no clue.
And Storm 5 might be in our future. And for anyone who doesn't know, that's a Naruto video game that Storm 4, I think, released. I was in high school.
We were in our senior year.
Like, I think it came out like maybe even our junior year. So I think it might have came out like
Ooh,
2015.
no, yeah,
I
yeah.
think Storm 4 came out 2015. I could be wrong.
No, yeah, because we had that for a while, yeah.
And they're putting out a new game that's called Storm Connections. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like they almost had us because it's like so close. I will say the pros of Storm Connections. I am angry, but I do see the pros of Storm Connections. Storm 4, that was supposed to be the last game. CyberConnect pretty much went, we're done. Storm 4 came out. They put out a bunch of DLC for it. They put out new characters. They
Yeah,
even went
because
back and did
Naruto was supposed to be the
Boruto
last of it, pretty much.
stuff. Right. Which that's a whole nother discussion
Yeah.
of Boruto. And so Storm 4 was supposed to be the final game. We've gotten, almost 10 years down the line, and we have Boruto, 78 chapters in the manga.
Yeah, more
We
than
don't want to
that.
talk about the anime, but it is
Eee.
also itself progressing through what it is progressing through. And now they're looking at, people are in demand for another Storm game. Storm Connections was announced, I think, less than 2 weeks ago. I think it's been about a week, maybe slightly over. And Storm Connections is going to consist of Storm 1 through 4, all the story through there, and then they will have DLC and some Boruto story, of course, to however long they were working on it and however caught up they are to the anime or manga.
Technically, if they do it like that, they could just keep going and keep giving DLC for the new
Exactly.
stuff.
And there goes my phone. Exactly. And that's why it's hopeful. That's why I'm going over the pros first, because it's very hopeful, because they could do a lot with it.
Do you think it's going to be like a season pass thing, like you get like the exclusive thing and then you'll just get the DLC?
Yeah. Which is why I kind of have a problem with them charging. It looks like, well, depending on what your definition of full price is these days, because now they're charging $70 for games, but it looks like they're going to be charging us $60 for this. And I understand it's going to revitalize maybe bring a Storm 5, but I just don't see any justification for charging us $60 because it's we could go buy a bundle of Storm 1 through 4 for less than that.
It should just be free, and the DLC should be bought, and that should be used to fund toward Storm 5.
I'll push back and say it shouldn't be free. I think it should be like a $40 game.
Like if it was free at least, because that would make sense for the
The
DLC
only reason
packs.
the only reason I think it should be $40 is because they did revamp a lot. Like
Okay.
the OG,
All right.
like Storm
All right.
1,
Oh my god! I mean, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
it looks like Play-Doh compared to what Storm 4 looks like.
Yeah.
So they have, pretty much
Oh my god,
4K
bringing that stuff.
HD, the Storm 1, Storm 2, which is another pro, which is
Big
pretty much
pro,
a
can't lie,
remaster of
yeah.
Storm 1 through 3 that we kind of needed. But the problem I have with it is $60 for some of, or if not most of, old content.
Yeah.
I know remasters have been running for $60, but I just, for Naruto and how many games they've put out and how long those games have been out, I just don't think it's worth $60.
A lot of the games that have gotten remasters are also ones that can be really versatile with how you play them. Storm, you can't. You have button commands that tell you exactly what to push. Like, I love the games, don't get me wrong, and I'll play them again. But there's not a lot other than just getting the characters at the end.
It's just, yeah, for me walking into it knowing 150% sure there is going to be so much DLC because Boruto, it's been going for like 6 or 7 years, I think now, but there really isn't that much content for it because
That's so true.
They reran the movie, they brought back a bunch of old characters throughout the story, which was good, but it doesn't make a lot of new content because they're just variations of characters for the most part. And the new generation of kids haven't really been focused on that much, which is a main problem of the series and why Naruto obviously failed in that department as well, because the side character development in Naruto was dog water. Absolute dog food. We don't even know really anything about Sakura's heritage, lineage. We know there were civilians, and it really doesn't add up because Sakura at one point was shown to be a specialist in genjutsu that they threw out later on, and then even after all the story she barely scales to Naruto and Sasuke, but even that in itself is a feat because she comes from a civilian lineage. So my main point in this is Storm Connections could be a really good gateway for it. I just think they could have made it a little less money hungry, especially because the DLC is they could drop that for like a year or two straight
or more.
And I hope it releases because we already know that Indra and Ashura are being released as DLC.
But they should just be in it. That's
Which is why I'm hoping that they don't hold back too many other characters and that we just get all the characters we had before.
If anything,
and then we get DLC characters.
The DLC characters, I'd be fine with being DLC, are the ones that are like ridiculous, like any of the like godly power characters. Like make those DLC, refine them, whatever you need to do. Like I get that, but like if you're gonna make adult Sakura DLC, Boruto DLC, you're gonna make like midway Sasuke DLC. I like come.
There really isn't too many options. I think for Boruto it'll be a lot of variations that are DLC.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is just like it's unavoidable because Momoshiki. What is it? Borushiki? Is that what we call it? I almost said Momoruto, and that just sounds terrible. I'm gonna have to scrap that one. Just
how you said that so fluently is.
I thought about it real hard too. First, like I was gonna fumble that real easily until I sat here and had to fucking whoa, bring it back.
I fumbled thinking while you said that. So yeah,
I had to see you process this. But pretty much just to wrap this up, Storm Connections is just it could be good or it could be mild, could be meh.
Yeah.
Could be mediocre.
Yeah.
Could be mid.
Like a letdown, more or less. Not bad, just
maybe not even like a letdown.
We're not angry. We're just disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe not even like so much as like a letdown, but more of like, damn, that was so much wasted potential.
Yep.
when we
Yeah.
could have just got Storm 5 and you could
Yeah.
have just revitalized
Exactly.
Storm series with another
Exactly.
Storm game that's
Exactly.
actually part of the
Storm
series.
series. Exactly.
That's why I'm
And
confused.
they could explore so much because they could go from Hokage into whatever is going on with the Sasuke
And
in
then
the
just
Naruto
drop
side series.
DLC for Storm 5.
No, 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 no. That's what
No,
they could have done
I
for
agree.
Storm 5.
No,
You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
just,
just drop DLC for
yeah,
Storm 5.
yeah. But they wouldn't even really need DLC. DLC could be like, oh, do you want kid characters like from the first season of Naruto?
True.
Like DLC like that.
True.
Because that makes more sense than holding back the characters that we know we already are going to be forced to buy.
Which is just ridiculous to me. I think that's the most disappointing part to me. Where
Any
it's
version
like,
of Obito is going to be DLC.
yeah, they better not lock like 6 path stuff and all the stuff that you had to buy in Storm 4. Like
That's what I'm saying.
it's just crazy to me. But here's the hoping that Storm Connections actually makes it so we get a Storm 5.
Let's go.
And I just want to have one more story that's it's not really on the same level of the Storm 5 and the wants and needs that I want from that. And honestly, maybe at one point it would have been, but Marvel has really fallen down on the value for me on the value list. It used to be probably like top 5. It's gone down, especially after Ant-Man Quantumanium. I saw the full reviews of that, and
I
it's
haven't
not
even
even
looked.
it's not even
Worth looking up.
watching. It's not even
Yep.
worth watching.
That's what I figured.
It's just not. And so to connect with the Ant-Man Quantumania from last week, the Marvels, Captain Marvel. I don't know if too many people even remember that movie, but the pretty much the Marvel movie before the second part of Endgame. So in between the first part and the second
Where they
part
snuck it in.
of
Yeah.
Thanos showing up and then leaving because he had his victory lap, and then they're like, "Wait, hold up, wait a minute," and they run it back. In between all that, before he runs it back, the
They had a
Captain Marvel.
prequel. That was a prequel, wasn't it? To show how she became Captain Marvel, more or less.
Yes, but it doesn't really count as a prequel. It's just the straight up first movie. So it would have made sense if they would have just said, "Oh, it's a prequel," or they would have just done something else with Captain Marvel and then ran a prequel.
Yeah.
But the Marvels is consisting of Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Spectrum. So
And Nova.
oh well, will it really consist of
He's on
Nova?
the
Is my
poster.
question.
They haven't even brought up the fact that the Nova Corps got laid out flat. Pretty much flatline. There was no one left in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. They haven't even brought that fact up.
I did forget about that. That did kind of.
So are they just
happen in
gonna
Guardians
ham
of the
fist that in
Galaxy.
and be like, "Oh my God, no! Hey Nova, you're the last."
Are they just gonna pull up on the Nova planet?
That's what I'm saying. Are they just gonna? Hey, I know you're powerful.
Just
Let's
a
go.
quick drive by. I'm so sad because they really fumbled the bag on the Nova stuff, and hopefully,
Because he could have been in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
yeah, he could have been part of the Guardians.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And he could have flattened Thanos for a little bit.
it's just why didn't they give him his own movie, bro? Like it's crazy that they gave us Captain Marvel, but someone who is essentially kind of the same thing, they didn't give us a movie for.
And now they're just here. Just like Spectrum, too. Unless she was in the show. Unless Nova was in a show that I don't remember. I'd never seen any of them. So,
Which it kind of also
God, yeah, it goes into last week where you need to watch every bit of their content to be able to.
that, and it pushes the what everyone's been saying, the narrative where the MCU is now officially, and I mean this in the best way, the MCU, where it's pushed the men to the wayside. Let's give all the women spotlight, but not do it in the correct way, and just throw a script together, throw a movie together. Example one, Black Widow. Throw that movie in the garbage. Taskmaster was, I don't know how you fumble Taskmaster and Black Widow, but you fumbled it.
They waited too long for Black Widow.
Well, that too. That's kind of the main reason that movie
That
didn't
should have
work.
been dropped so much earlier.
But you could tell they rushed it because they fumbled almost nearly everything in that movie. And I didn't even watch it, but the reviews I've seen and the clips I've seen, holy shit, man. Yeah, I understand why Scarlett Johansson, God bless her soul, I understand why she was so angry. Like they gave her a shitty movie, they released it late, and then they released her in between like a bunch of other shit too. So it was
It
like,
wasn't a movie. It was a show, wasn't it?
no, it was a movie.
It was a movie. I
No, it
thought
was
it
a
was a
no, it
show.
was a full fledged movie.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. That's how bad the marketing was for it too, because like all these Disney Plus shows were coming out at the same time, and then they just stuck Black Widow's
there
movie,
was no
and
build up or hype to it at all. And
it
yet again,
didn't.
it was another. Was it a like
It's a
how?
prequel. It's a
Like,
prequel.
why do
That one
that?
was a straight up prequel,
Why do that?
especially when she's already dead. I'm sorry, but like you
I
don't really
forgot
do
about that.
prequels after someone's like you already know how her story is like completely ended, like she's cut off. Like prequels are kind of like a oh, they're about to go on this next adventure. See the prequel of how they became blah blah blah. Like who wants to watch a prequel knowing the character's dead?
Like this
That
should have
might just be
been
me, but
before Endgame.
yeah, exactly. If they
Like
would
they
have
could have stretched Endgame out longer
if
and
they
just
would have
gave us a couple prequels.
switched Captain Marvel and Black Widow's releases, I think that would have honestly worked out for the best.
It would have been such a good step
That
forward.
poor Scarlett Johansson, after all the time she spent in Marvel, like almost a day one Avenger, she got treated
She
like
was
trash
in
on the way out.
Iron Man 2 or
I was
3.
gonna say, yeah, she was in like one of the earliest Iron Mans. Like she's been there for 10 years plus easily,
Yeah.
and they just kicked her in the face on the way out. So, yeah, essentially, the MCU. I wanted to have high hopes, and I know this sounds real negative and blah blah blah. I'm just complaining about Marvel, but man, when the golden age of Marvel was happening, it was good, and Disney Plus has been kind of the demon to the Marvel universe.
Remember how they used to weave stuff like Easter eggs into other movies? Like, wasn't Tom Holland supposed to be the kid that was standing there when Iron Man rolled up? Or was that Andrew Garfield? Spider
Oh,
Man.
I
Was that
completely
Tom Holland
forget.
as a kid?
I completely forget. I think they were supposed. Yeah, there was some connection they were trying to do where it was like, oh, that was
Because
Peter
it's
Parker before he got his
wanted, yeah,
powers or
wanted
something.
to realize what a hero was.
Yeah, I
Air
completely
quotes.
forget about that.
Because
But
like they used to do some, like little things like that. Like that was a cool way to weave that in.
they used to do a lot of good connections too. Like, oh my god, it's crazy because like they can't even really do that anymore. The way that they just jumble everything out. So
Everything's already mixed, so how are you gonna be able to do a mixed when it's already mixed?
yeah, so it's sad. It really is just like I don't even know how Marvel's gonna really bring itself back. Ant-Man, I really think was the last Hail Mary, at least in my eyes, for Marvel, because like that was the start of Phase 4. That was the beginning of Phase 4.
There was no other movie before this.
Nope, that was the start of Phase 4. Kang was the start of Phase 4,
Kang
or start of
should.
Phase 5.
Yeah, it's Phase
I
5.
mean Phase
Damn.
5. I mean Phase 4 ended, and it's Phase 5 it began with
Yeah,
Kang.
but still though, Kang would be a great overall villain like Thanos was.
Could
But
have been if
that's
they would have started it correctly.
that's what I'm saying.
Now there's no stakes, and Marvel has shot
I
itself
are
in
do
the
you
foot.
100% now. Every single movie is gonna have its own main villain, like Ultron was, because the comics got rid of like weekly comics from Marvel had weekly villains. I guarantee they'll do something like that. And the overarching threat is null.
It was great because old Marvel pretty much did the same thing like throughout the Iron Man movies and stuff. But
Oh
like
yeah,
now they're running out of like material because they're running
which
out of
blows my
they're
mind.
running out of Avengers. They're not adding any more content back
They should
into
just,
it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially now that they have the rights to Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four. Why haven't you scrapped this stuff? Not even scrapped it, finished up the stuff you were working on, and then immediately started casting for that stuff, because that new stuff, new idea could bring back so many eyes to Marvel.
I think them trying to mesh Deadpool and stuff's gonna be a challenge in itself. In all honesty.
Oh, I'm not even saying mesh, because like they can do it with Secret Invasion, because that's what everything's leading up to is Secret Invasion.
Yeah, but all of Avengers and Marvel's garbage humor and cringe humor, it's not really gonna mesh with Deadpool because Deadpool actually is funny. while the rest of the MCU is just
That's what he can clown on.
atrocious.
That's what he's going to be clowning on. There's no way.
I just don't think the MCU is going to be. I hate to say woke enough to do that.
Let's. But think about it though. If they really wanted to keep the cheesy Marvel, and bring these characters in right, and I'm gonna have hope. Let Deadpool and Wolverine start a fist fight, come into this universe and see all these clown heroes, and just start trashing them. Not in a fist fight, just clowning on them.
It's just they're not gonna do that because then that's gonna disregard all their Disney shows that they're making and all the different shows that they're making for all these individual.
That would
superheroes.
be so cathartic, though.
I know, but like they pretty much would be trashing themselves markedly too as well. So like they're not gonna do that.
Marvel's never gonna stop making money. They could do that.
See, I disagree with that, bro. A couple years ago, I would have agreed, but She-Hulk, all the rest of the stuff that's come out.
No matter what, people are still gonna watch Marvel. It's like Star Wars.
I know you're gonna say that, but even Star Wars is dying out here. Like, when's the last time they made a main movie for Star Wars?
I haven't watched Star Wars since I was like 10, brother.
When's the last time you've heard anything about Star Wars? That's like going to be anything recent, like.
But that's the thing. It doesn't need to be anything groundbreaking or new. They give us stuff like The Mandalorian and remakes of movies that they claim are different.
I think that's going to be the only thing that's going to keep Star Wars alive, though. That's all I'm saying is I don't think they're going to really.
But
Marvel's going to reach the point, too.
Disney is just a cash cow constantly. They're owned by Disney. They're always going to have money.
Disney lost $27 billion last year.
That didn't affect them at all.
The only thing keeping Disney afloat is their theme parks. If they lose their theme parks, Disney could bleed out.
That's such a crazy thought, though, because
most of their profits
2 years ago they didn't have those theme parks because of COVID.
Well, the amount of money they made off those theme parks in the last few decades, though, they could afford to close for a year.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like,
they could afford because they added another Avatar section. They added more to Pandora, and those movies are dropping.
Did you the Super Mario World? Is that Disney or is that?
No, that's Nintendo.
No, that's attached to something down Florida. I don't know if it's.
I don't think it's attached to Florida. I thought it was somewhere else.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's. I don't even know if it's in the U.S. To be honest with you, that'd be great if it was in the U.S. But I don't even think. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I was tripping. Oh, it is in Universal. Oh, look at that.
That's what. Yeah.
Look at that. So no, it's not Disney. It's Universal.
Then yeah.
So that opens up. I didn't even know it was in Florida. That's crazy. That's cool.
That just opened up too.
Yeah, I did see they opened that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know it was in Florida. Wow. I feel dumb. But yeah. So essentially, I just think Marvel has a lot of ground to remake. Because I think they are getting to that point where they could start reaching the red line here pretty fast because their budgets are ginormous. The amount of money that they
That's what I'm saying. The
amount of money they have to make to break even. Do you know how much money Wakanda 2 had to make to break even? And they barely broke even? Like over $500 million. Like it's insane. I just think they've reached the point of almost no return where they've dumped too much into it and lost too much by dumping out not enough good content. So it could get dicey. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon. I just think it's a possibility. And so to wrap this up, I just want to, have a few last minute announcements. Pretty much the new releases that I've seen this week. I know Lil Wayne,
yes, sir,
dropped a new track with DMX samples. R.I.P. DMX.
R.I.P. Exactly.
Mr. Real New York man. And hopefully Lil Wayne makes a comeback. I don't know what Carter we're on. I'm losing track, but I'm gonna sound real. If anyone wants to roast me for that, I will. I was my head high 6. And take that. Maybe he's gonna take the risk. We'll go with
I'm gonna say 6.
We'll go with
We're
6.
We're on 6,
Fuck
going to 7.
We're risking it. So
blame me, not him.
It's whatever. We'll both go in on that. It's like a fucking game of poker. All chips, all in.
Oh man,
I could lose all of it, but anyway. So I think Lil Wayne's gonna be a good release. I mentioned Hobson last week. I hopefully he puts out a new track.
Logic just dropped that whole album.
Oh shit! I didn't know Logic dropped the whole album.
It wasn't just tracks; it's a whole album.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, Logic.
That's why I was asking if
I didn't know
you
if he.
listened to all the Logic and you were like, yeah, I heard the two. I was like,
I thought
nah,
it was
brother.
just
There's like
singles he dropped. My
there's like
bad.
10, 12 maybe songs.
I thought it was just singles. I messed up. I gotta listen to that too. And they're coming out with what is it? Scream 5.
Yes,
I think
sir.
that's like next month.
I know. I'm so hyped.
So
I'm so
we got a
hyped.
little bit on the radar. If anyone has anything else they're looking forward to, or maybe that's a little, out of the way that people don't know about, please, for me, leave it in the comments. We'll try and let other people know too. We might shout it out.
Literally, we just want to be hyped with y'all.
And yeah, if it's not getting enough love, I want to give it enough love, or at least
Yeah.
a little more.
Exactly.
So I've been your host, Nimbus. It's been my co-host, LD Lights.
Sir.
Thank you for joining us today. Have a good rest of your day.